And good afternoon, Radio K-Man Nation, and a very happy Thursday to you. And for those celebrating the American holiday, happy American Thanksgiving. Thank you for tuning into your station of the nation, Radio K-Man. I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, who we hope is enjoying his vacation. Just another day for him, so if he's listening, enjoy the last couple days of vacation, because you're back to the grind on Monday. Our listeners miss him, right, Katina?
We certainly do. We certainly do. Enjoy it for while it lasts.
Absolutely.
We look forward to hearing you back in the studio.
Absolutely.
Good afternoon, brother.
Good afternoon. Now, we do have a very diverse show today, and we'll be kicking it off with the one and only Miss Katina Anglin in just a few minutes. As always, we do welcome your stories, feedback, and questions, and invite you to join our conversation. Simply dial 1-800-534-8255. That's 1-800-534-TALK or 949-8037. Or you can always WhatsApp us at 925-3261. We'll be back with more talk today following this very brief disclaimer.
Talk Today is brought to you by Fidelity Bank. For all your banking needs, visit fidelitygroup.com. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255.
Courtesy of Live Communication.
Let your voice be heard.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you're just tuning in, we're joined in studio today with Miss Katina Anglin. I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. Welcome back to Talk Today, Miss Katina. It's been about 2 months, 6 weeks, roughly?
It has actually been 2 months
2
because
months,
they didn't
right.
make last month's session due to circumstances beyond my control.
That's right, yes.
So they didn't make last month. So now here we are in the second month. And yes, it is great to see you too. It is always great to see you.
Before we get
and
fully
enjoy
underway.
your positivity.
Thank you. You know, we had to somehow say there's a lot to be grateful for.
There
And
always
there's
is.
And, we're usually more. I have this joke I tell my son. It's not a joke. It's like a perception scenario where I say, imagine you're sitting in a classroom and you're sitting from the teacher, and the teacher goes, okay, class, here's the chalkboard. 1 + 1 is 2. 2 + 2 is 4. 3 + 3 is 8. 4 + 4 is 8. 5 + 5 is 10. And all the kids start laughing at the teacher. And the teacher goes, what's so funny? And the kids all go, 3 + 3 is not 8, it's 6. And the teacher looks at everyone and goes, how come you didn't see the other 4 that I got correct? We're so prone to catch that negative comment all the time. And that's anyhow,
exactly. And it's about perception also. If you keep a positive perception of things around you and people around you, then you will see and speak of the positivity.
Sure.
If your view is one of negativity, you're going to be the 3 + 3 laughter person. Catch that 3 + 3.
You just wait for it.
Yeah, you just wait for it. I got you now, though. I got you now, though. I can fix you because you know why? You just went wrong.
Yeah.
Forget the fact that everything else was done right,
That's absolutely
So
correct.
we have a choice every day and in every way whether or not that we want to rejoice or complain.
Well said.
It's your choice.
It is absolutely your choice
There's
every day.
always, it goes back to that saying that behind every dark cloud or around every dark cloud, there's a silver lining.
Absolutely.
Do you want to focus on the dark cloud, as big as it may be? Or do you want to just focus on the beauty of that silver lining?
We could do a whole show just in this one. Because there's so many good ways.
We could.
It's true. It's one of those things where going uphill, it's hard to always stay optimistic. It's like the uphill climb. It's very easy to let gravity take over and fall, though, right? Like where you just fall into that negative kind of mindset. And it's easy to get stuck in that downward spiral, just like gravity. Gravity just takes you down.
Yeah.
You have to put a lot of effort to keep climbing up.
Exactly.
And it's, but there's no shortage of negativity in the world. That's why there's no value to it. That's why there's people that are so optimistic. There's so much value to what they bring to the world because so many have fallen into this trap of staying into that negative, toxic mindset and not by choice. They don't know how to really break out of it sometimes, and that's where you come along.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
I'm just so enjoying this conversation right now. Maybe one day we should just have a segment about positivity.
That's a great one.
You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know,
There's so much good to come from that. But
we're never going to get to the topic that you want to talk about today. So let's circle back to you, because you have more to talk about than I think is gratitude today.
Okay.
What's on your agenda today?
So, well, first of all, let me say good afternoon to the Cayman Islands. Good afternoon to everyone out there in the Cayman Islands. Those of you who are listening from even overseas, and to the international community as well, who has tuned into Radio Cayman today. Thank you very much for paying attention to what is happening in the country and tuning into this show. May God continue to bless us as we continue to pursue God in all of his righteousness. God bless you. Today, I would like to just give a brief update on the judicial review. I know that there's not been much coming out from the press. There's not been a whole lot to report on because first it was an ex parte application, so the press couldn't be a part and parcel to that to report on it. You know, even today I have to be very careful with the words that I choose, particularly for two main reasons. One is it is now a case before the court. Two is I'm a party to the proceedings. Now, it places me in a precarious situation because I'm also the public relations officer for the Christian Association for Civics. However, that position will have to take a secondary stance to the obligations in the best interest of justice in relation to the first 2 points that I made, that it is a case before the court and that I am a party to the proceedings, the judicial review against the governor, which I tendered earlier back in October. And so we did have an ex parte hearing to see if my application for judicial review, so I had to go through the stage first of leave from the court to enter into judicial review. The leave is so that the court, at first instance, still in Grand Court, can look at the application and see whether or not it is a frivolous application. Is it wasting the court's time? Is it wasting the resources of the judicial administration, which includes the judge? But there's also the filing officers and everything that has to be calculated into all of it. And so we had to have a hearing, which was made ex parte, which meant it was only the judge, my advocate, and myself who were actually supposed to be in the room. That ex parte hearing was heard, and the threshold. Sorry,
you were granted leave to apply.
I was granted the leave to pursue the judicial review. Was granted. Yes.
Okay.
And so the next stage of it now is to actually hear the judicial review in February. There were two grounds that I was pursuing, and that was that one, that the use of Section 801 of the Constitution to enact the civil partnership law, which most people will still refer to it as the domestic partnership bill. And it's, I think, because we had that word for a while before it was changed.
Sure.
And it's so much easier to say DBP. So reference to the civil partnership law by DBP is still pretty much recognized as being one and the same when people speak about it in the public arena. You just got to adjust your thinking to those words. And then the second so let me just clarify again that point one was that by using Section 801 of the Constitution to enact the CPL beyond the scope of his responsibility as defined by Section 55 of the Constitution. And two, that by using the section to remedy incompatibility because of Section 23 of the Constitution specifically reserves that power to the legislature. And that by doing these two actions, he had erred in law by bringing about the civil partnership law into law in the Cayman Islands. And so that is actually what the judicial review is about. It is not about whether or not there is a right to same-sex marriage in the country. It's about, did the governor err in law when he used Section 801 to to use his powers under Section 55 to pass and implement the civil partnership law in the Cayman Islands. Now, the second of those two grounds, referring to Section 23 of the Constitution, correct, the legislative ability to remedy incompatibility, that was restricted in the by the judge, and so we are only proceeding on the first point. Did he err in law when he used Section 801 to invoke his powers under Section 55? So that remains the sole ground of the application at this time.
And Section 23, can you elaborate a little bit more on what Section 23 entails?
Section 23 of the Constitution is the incompatibility clause. It says that any declaration of incompatibility which is issued by the Grand Court of Cayman Islands, by the Court of Appeal of Cayman Islands, any declaration that is issued in which primary law is incompatible with the Constitution, the Legislative Assembly shall remedy, if it sees fit, shall remedy the incompatibility, saying that there is no law that compels the Legislative Assembly to make or amend any law. As a matter of fact, it distinctly says may choose to. And Lady Hale, in her judgment from Nicholson and Lamb back in 2014, really summed up the power of the legislative body of Parliament, in that it can choose to remedy incompatibility, but it doesn't have to remedy incompatibility. And amongst all other reasons why it may choose not to remedy incompatibility is because Parliament itself may choose or deem it fit to have the incompatible law over an alternative law. And there is no law that says that the Legislative Assembly must make or amend a law. It says may choose to.
But this section, so the second part of your applications that was touching on Section 23 has now been restricted, and you're now focusing strictly on Section 1, or the first part.
The first ground, part, yes. Which
focusing
is,
on 81 and 55.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. There's also some discussion about, throughout the global legal environment now, about incompatibility in the absence of a law, and where does that responsibility, who fills that void?
Is there case
it's
law
kind of
already?
like a laguna.
Is there any case law already that's already before the courts that they can actually rely upon for some decision? Or is this a big gray area that they're
this is the lacuna, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Oh, that's what you meant by okay, fair enough. Okay, and then one last question, because I know you have a lot of other items you wanted to discuss today. There is still the case that is before the Privy Council as well. Is that something that is
set to come before the Privy Council in February? As well. Yes.
So 2 judgments expected, one from the Privy Council, one theoretically from the Grand Court here.
Right, but the one at Privy Council is not including me. No, that is with the original plaintiffs,
correct.
Mrs. Day and Ms. Bodenbush.
Correct, and
they are appealing the government's appeal.
Correct, and that's in pursuit of the marriage equality.
Yeah, same-sex marriage.
Okay.
Right.
On that note, let's go to our first commercial break. Back with more talk today, right after this.
Depending on the severity of a storm, it is possible that your home's plumbing or septic tank could be damaged. Hazard Management Cayman Islands recommends using a garbage bag to line at least 2 5-gallon containers with tight-fitting covers to use as a temporary toilet. Be sure to include personal sanitation supplies in your emergency kit, such as moist towelettes, feminine hygiene products, garbage bags, and rubber gloves. For more useful hurricane preparedness tips, visit the Water Authority's website at www.waterauthority.ky or follow us on social media.
The Cash Call is back, and back in a big way. Tell a friend to join Judicial live on Facebook with DJ Mark Lee, happening this afternoon, Thursday, November 26th at 4 p.m. for a chance to win $50 in cash. 12 people will win $50 in cash. Just download Hashtag MyDigicel app and any two Digicel apps. Join Digicel Cayman Live on Digicel Cayman page for a chance to win cash. Don't miss this one.
Your Radio Cayman 7 a.m. news, brought to you by Cayman National, proudly serving the Cayman Islands since 1974. Visit www.caymannational.com for up-to-date information for all your financial needs and follow us on social media.
The Le Classique Black Friday sales event is on. That's right, Le Classique in the Strand Shopping Complex announces the jaw-dropping Black Friday sales event. Eye-popping deals on now. Every shoe, every bag, every backpack, every wallet is on sale at crazy Black Friday prices. The entire store is marked down 10 to 75% off. Sale on Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., Saturday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Don't miss this one, Cayman.
The Paramount Carpet pre-Christmas blowout sale is back. Monday, November 23rd through Saturday, November 28th. Save big with assorted remnant tiles, $250 square foot, $100 a pallet. Assorted remnant granite slabs, $300 each. Ceramic tiles as low as 75 cents a square foot. Porcelain tiles as low as 99 cents a square foot. Area rugs, 35% off. Carpets, 25% off. And all other in-house tiles, 20% off. Cash and carry. Visit the Big Blowout sale at Paramount Carpet, November 23rd to November 28th. Located on 317 North Sound Road, Industrial Park. Open Monday to Friday, 7:30 till 5, and Saturday, 7:30 till 2. Call 949-5000.
We do a whole lot more than just cover your floor at Paramount. Paramount Carpets.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you are just tuning in, I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, and we are very pleased to have in studio Miss Katina Anglin. Now turning the conversation from judicial review to far more complex matters of politics. From one big head to another, we're going to jump to this one. So it's an interesting one because this whole segment is about talking about constitutional matters and how our system of governance tends to come into being. And so I'm going to let you tiptoe your way into these muddy waters. Have at it.
Thank you. And just plunge right in, actually.
I'm looking at your list here, and I'm like, there's no easy way other than to just like throw a massive dart and say, I want to talk about this.
Yeah. Well, civics and politics are intertwined, right?
Sure.
So we have our executive body. We have our legislative body, we have our judicial body. We just looked at how the judicial body operated just now. And in that operation, you had me as a citizen who was engaging the government through a judicial process.
Correct.
All right?
And theoretically, all three of these heads are independent of each other to allow for...
Theoretically. Because at the same time, the respondent is the governor of the Cayman Islands, who is the head public servant. So that's our executive body coming into accountability toward the citizen of the country through the judicial process, using the laws that were set out by the Legislative Assembly. So it is something where just our mere existence as a human being in a country, we are engaging in a relationship with these three bodies at some time. Now, I'm going to read from a website called Simplicable. And I want to encourage everyone, as many of you as have access to the internet. The website's name is simplicable.com. It is a real simple language layout website. It has all of the political systems on there. It talks about civic engagement. It talks about civic responsibilities. Now, while our education system lacks in civic our education curriculum lacks with civic lessons, civic education. We are all adults. We have the ability to use our time and our resources and our responsibility to do so, to educate ourselves when there's a gap, and also to educate other persons who may not have that ability or those resources to do so. So the reason why I share material from different websites, as I have done in the past, and to provide that, is so that people are able to go do their own research and understand what their roles are and how they can undertake those roles and those duties in society, and particularly in Cayman society, because that's where I am, that's where I'm living, that's what I'm most concerned about at this time. You know, if someone makes himself dependent on me to come and teach them everything, you're gonna be 100, I'm gonna be 102, and we can still be, you know, clicking through lessons because I only have a once per month show anyway, right?
Of course, yes.
Okay, so the website again is simplicable.com. And starting first with the definition of politics is laid out on that site. It says politics is the mean by which a society, community, or group assigns authority and makes collective decisions. This is a fundamental social process that is necessary for the cooperation of groups towards common goals. Global politics, such as diplomacy, plays a role in securing peace, economic cooperation, and preserving common resources. Here's the interesting part in why we as citizens must pay attention, though, to what is happening politically. It's not enough for you to just go, place an X, walk out the booth, and never say anything to your elected representative, never demand meetings, never call them. It's because politics is often fraught with deception, tension, and disagreement. And so it deserves, although it serves a vital purpose as a basis for conflict avoidance, civility, stability, economic efficiency, and quality of life. We have as citizens, because we are handing over authority, we are assigning authority to persons who we are electing to undertake certain actions, to make and to create laws. Those laws are going to affect us one way or the other, and what we want it to do is we want it to be in the best interest of society overall. If we start thinking I'm going to elect that one because he's going to do this favor for me, we're going into the poll booth with the wrong idea, and we're setting the country up for failure. If we elect representatives who have a focus on the betterment of the country and therefore each individual where systems are established by which people can function and move through, receive the assistance and aid that they need, be graduated from whatever situation it is that is affecting them negatively, then they're able to progress and to elevate and to become a contributing member of society. Now, no man is an island, and there have been times when persons, including myself, have hit rock bottom and needed government services in order to be able to get back up. I started off at law school on a government scholarship. By the way, not a lot of people know that, but that's actually my first year of funding was on a government scholarship. So when we're voting, we have to vote sensibly. We also need, because in a couple of short weeks' time, there is going to be a day of nominations and declarations for persons who are going to run for the elections for 2021. That's going to come up here in December, just a few days away, actually. This day will come. We need, as citizens, to understand what they're going to be saying when they're standing on that platform. Because all the big fancy words they're throwing out, that's called political jargon. We can't just continue to eat that up. We got to be asking questions. What exactly did you mean when you said this? How will it affect me? And how will it affect my great-grandchildren? Because we actually cannot afford to function and think about me, my. Those are very destructive words for continuation and succession. You have to be thinking about the ones coming down the line. Wise man stocks up his inheritance for his future generations, right? So that's what we as citizens need to start getting around at, is learning some of the political language. And you can go through websites like Simplicable, and you can garner so much information and get a better understanding, so you're able to ask even better questions of those who are potential candidates in the upcoming elections. So how are you proposing to remedy this situation in our country? Do you agree that our social ills is greater than our financial ills? And you can ask better structured questions and know when you actually haven't gotten a proper answer. Because when the politician answers you in language that he knows that you have not understood, he hasn't answered you. He's laughed at you. And if we are aware of that it's okay for us to ask and to ask and to ask, then we will accept that all we are doing is obtaining and demanding information, and we have that as a right. Freedom of information, there's a lot of that actually, because information is so critical to democracy. You know, children, 4-year-old children, 3-year-old children, 6-year-old, they have a word that irks a lot of adults, and it's why. Sit them across the street. Why? Because the car will hit you. Why? Because the driver won't be able to stop in time. Why? Because he's driving 40 miles an hour. Why? Because the law allows him to drive 40 miles an hour. And it's not until that child gets a satisfactory answer. And what he has done is he has taken this whole scenario apart and he's brought it down to just simply what he needs for him to understand exactly why. And he'll probably stop at some point, like, because the car will actually hurt or kill you, and then I won't have my child. You're going to go to the hospital, you're going to be in a lot of pain, I won't have my child if you die, and so on and so forth, and mama will be really hurt. Oh, sure. That's when it connects, right? So we have to treat ourselves sometimes as though we were that little 2 or 3-year-old child when we're talking to a politician. Why? Okay?
On that question of why, let's go to our next commercial break. Back with more Talk Today right after this.
Fidelity Bank would like to thank all essential workers. We salute your efforts and thank you for the sacrifices you've made to keep us all safe. During these challenging times we're facing, our top priority is the health and safety of the communities we serve. And while it's true that things are changing rapidly every day, one thing that will never change is our commitment to giving you the best and sound financial solutions to help you during and after the coronavirus pandemic. At Fidelity Bank, our focus will always be you. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Now you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere.
Everywhere.
Can you hear me now? Everywhere. Everywhere.
Yes, right from your Android or iPhone. Download the Radio Cayman app now on your Android or iOS phone.
The Radio Cayman app
is where you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere you go.
Everywhere we go, we go. Everywhere we go, we go.
Find it in the Google Store, the Apple Store, or use the link at www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Yes, now you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere.
Hey, I'm so glad you can make it this weekend.
Of course. Wow, this place is amazing. How did you find this?
I found it on Experience Cayman. They have so many staycation ideas.
I'll check it out, but for now, let's hit that pool.
Experience Cayman is a celebration of everything local. To rediscover all the best things to see and do in the Cayman Islands, visit gov.ky/Experience Cayman and follow Experience Cayman on Facebook and Instagram. Brought to you by the Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure.
Shaken yet standing firm.
I was not built to break.
This is Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, and in studio with us, Miss Katina Anglin, here discussing the overarching concept of politics and our democratic system we have before us. Miss Katina, before the break, we were briefly going around the conversation of the importance of the electorate questioning their politicians and questioning their leaders for information that constructively benefits them. Back to you, just to bring our listeners back to the speed of where we were before the break.
Okay. Well, before going further about that, let me just make one quick announcement here, Ray. And then the rest of the time that's left, I can put it on that topic. I can get this announcement out of the way. And that is that I want to say a special good afternoon to the Christian leaders in the country who have been thinking about and contemplating whether or not that they should run for election and whether or not it's their place. So I want to confirm to you it is your place to be in a political seat. And there's some material I'd like to share with you about godly administration and godly governance. And if those of you who are contemplating running for election will reach out to us here at the Christian Association for Civics, either by calling or texting 922-6644, 922-6644, or emailing us at CaymanChristianCivics@gmail.com. Civics has an S on the end. CaymanChristianCivics@gmail.com. So that is for the Christian leaders in the country who have been contemplating running for election in the 2021 election. God bless you and thank you very much. And I look forward to speaking with you. Now, back to the structures of government that we were talking about earlier. So there are different formations of political systems, right? We have democracies and partial democracies. We have oligarchies. We have communist and socialist structures and so on. Here in Cayman, we choose to believe that we are actually living in a democracy. I maintain that we are living in an oligarchy. Democracy includes all of the participatory functions of the populace and everything, but an oligarchy is where the elitists actually make demands on the government, and those are fulfilled. So it's actually the elite who is dictating the movements of the government, and that's, my opinion and the opinion of many others, that we actually exist in an oligarchy and not in a democracy. But in a democracy, the definition of democracy is that a democracy vests authority in the people of a nation who vote for elected representatives. The people may also make major decisions from a referendum. Some of the characteristics of a democracy, and again, you find this information on the website simplicable.com, SIMPLICABLE, simplicable.com. 17 characteristics of democracy is that it has a constitution, which we have, but it's not really a constitution, it's a constitution order. The constitution order was given to us through Westminster Parliament through the West Indies Act of 1962. We don't particularly have a free rein over how we make laws in this country, because there are powers in there, Section 31, Section 801, Section 55, and Section 125 of the Constitution, which says that England can make laws for us at a whim.
Sure.
Whenever it so chooses.
Because we're still a dependency as that overseas territory.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes. So a lot of people think that our constitution order is supreme, but it's actually subordinate to Westminster Parliament.
Does that not make it a democracy by your standard then?
No, it's not.
Okay.
It doesn't make it a democracy.
Okay.
I'm just pointing out the fact that our constitution is subordinate to Westminster Parliament.
You said there's 17 other items on there?
They are.
Well, okay.
They're the rights and freedoms. Our rights and freedoms are also enshrined in our Constitution. This is often referred to as the Bill of Rights, fundamental rights, and so on. So you have other different references to it. But ours is the second part of our Constitution. There's consent. We're in a democracy. Our government claims legitimacy based on the consent of the people. I'm not quite sure if that's quite true here in Cayman, because we've had comments passed by elected representatives that says, I'm going to do this cost what it will. We have had, take for example, the 16 constitutional changes that just happened that comes into effect soon. Sure. But Section 81 has now been removed from that, so now we're down to 15, right?
Yeah.
These are constitutional changes which should have been brought to the attention of the people for their consent. Were they?
Could they argue that that's actually been done so by way of electing our 19 now members of Parliament?
But not for our constitutional changes.
Okay.
If you're changing 16 parts of a constitution, right, that increases autonomy in the country, should those not be brought in public discussions? And even if those public discussions were because a member of government came in each day and sat on this show for 2 weeks straight, and you could have alternative ones. But let's just say that government for 2 weeks straight said, listen, there are 16 points. We're going to talk to you about these 16 points. Your responsibility is reach out to your representative and let us have your views through your representative, because we need you to consent to these changes, because these are 16 changes increasing autonomy in the Cayman Islands. All right. So then what if I don't want increased autonomy? What if I feel safe as an individual with England having a majority of control?
But isn't this why we have the election process, to actually put that power into the hands of
representatives,
a group of individuals to represent our interests?
Right.
So you're saying
they still need to have discussions with us, because that's participatory democracy, which is one of the elements of a democracy, is that you're the elected representative put in place to make these decisions in the best interests of the country,
of course.
Based on my participation as may be deemed necessary, right? Because I can't be micromanaging you. I have certain faith in you that you're going to do what's right. But when it comes down to things that could have a magnitude effect, we need to talk about this, because your decision today is going to affect my great-grandchildren. If I'm not careful,
very fair
it may not be in my great-grandchildren's best interest. Right?
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Okay. Participation, which is one of the characteristics of democracy. I just spoke about that, how that interacts. Freedom of assembly. Freedom of assembly happens when persons congregate and get together for non-riotous purposes. That can be because you want to go to church together, you want to have a church meeting together, you want to have a church meeting together in a local park. You want to protest something. So as long as you do that without burning the buildings down, you're still invoking your right to freedom of assembly. Freedom of speech, whether that is through the local media, even with the station here, which I say to people, the station for the nation.
We are.
Yes.
Absolutely correct.
Minority rights, okay? Because you will have persons in society you're always going to have minorities in a society. Today, when you're looking at Caymanian population and the rights of them and the economic elevation, more and more people are starting to realize that Caymanians in this country are actually a minority. Not only is it that we are now, if the truth was spoken, probably a minority in number, being that there are less Caymanians than there are work permit holders and their dependents present in the country. But then there's also...
I don't know the current actual numbers. Is that the case, where there's actually a minority population? Because I don't know the numbers myself, to be very honest.
I don't think that the government is going to come forward and say, let me all tell you the absolute truth about how many people are in this country, because it would probably cause such an uproar in the country. But let me just use some basic math, right? After Hurricane Ivan, the population was, immediately in the aftermath of Hurricane Ivan, the population was reported to be something like 6 to 1,000. I said in the aftermath. I said before the aftermath, before Hurricane Ivan, it was reported to be something like 6 to 1,300 something other people. Immediately following Hurricane Ivan, we sent home some 1,500 people almost immediately to try to alleviate until government could get a better thing of the assessment of the situation. After we gathered all the pieces together, we started to bring folks back, particularly to help aid us with rebuilding the country. At that time, we didn't have that mass economic boom happening on the south coast of the island with all of the construction development. There's a great construction boom happening here in the country. Now, since then, if we had 61,000 before Hurricane Ivan, you think we still at the 61,000 that they're telling us 16 years on the line?
I didn't actually realize there were 61,000 pre-Ivan. I didn't actually realize that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, in order for people to safely invest in construction, to the extent that we see it happening, if you're driving with your eyes wide open, there has to be persons who are going to be purchasing certain goods, supermarket, groceries, and CUC, and so on and so forth. And those persons have to be available to stay in those condos and units that are being built, or we'd be in a state of bankruptcy before anything, right? Absolutely. We didn't have Cayman Bay. Cayman Bay is a city all in itself. Business is booming in Cayman Bay, even in the midst of this recession, but business is booming in Cayman Bay. So if we had 61,000 before Ivan, you really think we still have 61,000 now? I believe that with including dependents, we're probably closer to 80,000 people right now, if the government was to really speak the truth. We elect our representatives. There's a bureaucratic system. We have voting, we have referendums, we have inclusiveness, equality, and we also have things called corruption, the right to revolution, rule of law, instability, and change. Why would we have the corruption, the right to revolution, instability, and change in a democracy? Because in a democracy,
very quickly, only because we're now out of time.
Yeah, because in a democracy, you're electing people who are subject to make the wrong decisions.
Sure.
Okay, that's why we have an anti-corruption commission as well, to check what our executive and our elected representatives are also doing. Of course. Okay, and so in order for all of this to really work the way that it's meant to work, the citizen must be actively engaged in all it is that is going on in the country, or we'll find out that we'll wake up one day and question whether or not we are really truly living in the Cayman Islands. So I want to just share with the people again, because they can get more information and more details on these points if they visit the website simplicable.com. It's simplicable.com. And you don't have to sign up. You don't have to give away any of your information. It's just all on there. You just access it. Just use it. Learn, understand, and play your civic role. Because at the end of the day, whether or not we are profitable and prosperous, whether or not we are stable, it really depends on how much engagement that the citizen has with the government.
You're 100% correct on that one. I could not agree more. And I think anyone who's listening right now when we started the show, I've talked about the urge to want to complain first. If that is something you always want to do and there's a need to vent your frustration, this is how you address, this is the solution, is you become more civic-minded and start getting involved in the process.
Exactly.
Yeah, be part of the process and the solution, not the problem. On that note, Ms. Catino, we do have to go to our 1 p.m. headline news. How can the community get a hold of you if they have any questions about your cause?
Oh, it's the Christian Association for Civics and for Political Education. And their email address is caymanchristiancivics@gmail.com. Civics has an S on the end. And my telephone number is 922-6644. 922-6644. We also have a Judicial number. It's 322-0222.
Thank
you so much.
Thank
God
you,
bless you,
Christina.
Cayman.
On that note, let's go to our 1 p.m. headline news. Back for more talk today, right after this.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
It's only 2 species that we have, on the island.
Generations present.
Your voice, your choice.
It is in the
best interests of the people of these islands.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Shamrock Road has reopened this morning after a serious car crash left one person in the hospital. Just before 5:50 a.m. today, emergency services were called out to a report of a vehicle collision along Shamrock Road near Woodland Drive, where a person was knocked down. The person was taken by ambulance to the Cayman Islands Hospital for treatment and is believed to be in serious condition at this time. As a result of the crash, the road was closed to traffic but has since reopened. Turning to international news now, a court in Turkey has given life sentences to 337 military officers and others in one of the biggest trials linked to the 2016 coup attempt. Air Force pilots and army commanders were among the nearly 500 defendants accused of trying to overthrow President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. They allegedly directed the plot from McKinsey Air Base near Ankara. Ethiopian Prime Minister says he is launching the final phase of the army's operation in the northern region of Tigray after weeks of fighting. He said the military would try not to harm civilians in the regional capital, a city of 500,000, urged residents to stay at home. The UN warns of possible war crimes if the Ethiopian army attacks the regional capital. And thousands of fans are paying their final respects to Argentine football legend Diego Maradona at the presidential palace in Buenos Aires. 3 days of national mourning have begun in Argentina after the national hero died following a heart attack on Wednesday at the age of 60. Some wept, others blew kisses and said prayers as they filed past the coffin being displayed at the Casa Rosada. 1 million people are expected to view the casket. Those are your latest headlines here on Radio Cayman. I'm Shanda Gallego.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
your voice, your choice, your radio.
Fidelity Bank would like to thank all essential workers. We salute your efforts and thank you for the sacrifices you've made to keep us all safe. During these challenging times we're facing, our top priority is the health and safety of the communities we serve. And while it's true that things are changing rapidly every day, one thing that will never change is our commitment to giving you the best and sound financial solutions to help you during and after the coronavirus pandemic. At Fidelity Bank, our focus will always be you. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Miracle Brokers International, your worldwide movers and freight forwarders, continues to work hard to improve their expertise to provide you with the first-class service you have come to expect. Now, together with Consolidated Freight Line, CFL, the specialist in logistical and global cargo solutions, customers can rely on an expanded team of moving professionals that gets the job done in a timely manner. Whether it's your prized possessions, full container loads, less than container loads, ro-ro cargo, or construction equipment, from door to port services, or across the oceans, from destinations such as the U.S., Canada, Asia, the Caribbean, Central and South America, among others. Miracle Brokers and CFL combined networks offers hundreds of expert connections that take the stress out of moving and shipping services. Call today for your free estimate, 949-5989. You can also log on to www.miraclebrokers.com. Miracle Brokers is located at the end of Kingbird Road, just past CUC. Miracle Brokers, the art of packing and moving, 949-5989.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you are just tuning in, I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. And now pleased to have in studio Mr. Edris Oksho from AGDRA. And this is in regards to the Honduras and Nicaragua relief efforts relating to the recent storms that they endured. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me here. I am happy to be here to give a synopsis and overview of AGDRA, the Adventist Development and Relief Agency. Some historical information first, so people can understand who we are, what we are doing, and where we are going as an organization. So I'm happy to be here.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
So talk to me a bit about where, because it's the first time I'm actually hearing about AGDRA myself. How long has AGDRA been around, and are they a Caribbean-based organization? Is this a global organization, or it's solely in Cayman?
Okay. Well, first of all, AGDRA is an international organization. It's the humanitarian arm of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. It was established in 1956, and they operated in approximately 118 countries now, at all continents, and their focus is on humanitarian needs. These needs vary according to what is needed within the community. As it relates to AGDRA Cayman was established in 1998, which is approximately quite a long time.
Long enough.
Right? Long enough for us.
Long enough.
Right. And how the organization operates. We do have an executive committee. We have an organizational structure, which is critical when people are looking at organizations. So we have been more a proactive organization instead of a reactive organization. We don't wait for things to happen, but we make sure that we are there before it happens, and we plan to meet those needs. Now, as it relates to AGDRA Cayman, I'd like to just give you some information, what we have been involved in from 98 to now.
Please, my next
Is
question
that
was
all right?
that was my next question. You took it out of it also. Run with it.
Right. So AGDRA Cayman has been involved primarily in the area of disaster preparedness, disaster management. That's our primary focus. But we are not limited to that because there are other areas we consider. From a historical perspective, in 1998, AGDRA Cayman flew to Nicaragua and built a clinic for the people in that community. This is from AGDRA Cayman here. We also went to Honduras, and the area that we're talking about, it was Hurricane Mitch during that period of time.
Sure.
And we went to Honduras also. There were other hurricanes, and AGDRA Cayman flew out and did some humanitarian efforts, refurbished schools, etc., from Cayman Islands.
So these are members of the Adventist Church here in Cayman who had gone over to do these efforts?
Yes, the members. As a matter of fact, we have approximately 200 volunteers. And I want to emphasize something here.
Wow.
In all our efforts, all that we do is volunteer work. No one is paid in AGDRA, including myself. I want to make that point clear because we believe that people comes before things. So that's why we volunteer. It's about a humanitarian approach. We also work very, very hard here during Hurricane Ivan with the government of the Cayman Islands through hazard management. We are a member of that voluntary agency responders, and we implement whatever is required by the government of the Cayman Islands through our volunteerism. We have worked in Paloma, that's Cayman Brac, where we had a huge destruction. We sent over containers. We distributed. We have also supported Turks and Caicos during Maria. And even recently, Dorian last year, we shipped a 40-foot container to Bahamas, all done through AGDRA, and there was another ministry, Solid Rock Ministries, which supported us as another Adventist church in that aspect. But even to go further, recently we had Tropical Storm Eta. And while the storm was in progress, AGDRA volunteers were traveling to the centers. While Tropical Storm Eta, they went there just before the progression, when things were that's early in the morning, when they collected their kits from hazard management. So they were there. It was not extensive at that time, and they were there at the shelters. So we are really up to date when it comes to disaster management and dealing with people and their needs. Very, very important. And the history also looks at, we had various leaders during that era, Pastor Franklin Gars, Shirley Henry Gars, who did that fantastic job in pulling us together as relates to hurricane in Nicaragua, Puerto Cabeza, Hurricane Mitch, Benny Moore, Dean Evans, Carol Gold, Derek Tibbetts, and now I am here.
Quite a distinguished list of leaders you've had.
Yes.
So you've joined a nice panel of leaders and stepped into some big shoes.
Well, yeah, it's important because people sometimes think that an organization is built from the person who sits in the chair initially, but there is a foundation.
Absolutely.
Right, and we have now divided Cayman into various zones. So we have about 12 zones, 12 area coordinators, and that's why we are able to respond quickly to anything that happens.
You have 12 of your 200 volunteers in Cayman. You have 12 different zones.
Yes.
So are those 12 zones you mentioned? Are they also now involved with the emergency response units for hazard management? Is that how you're talking when you're responding? You're responding with coordinated efforts with hazard management.
Yes, that's what happens. So that is why we were able to get to the shelters.
Sure.
So you have a zone area coordinators. Under those area coordinators, we have what they call zone leaders. Under those zone leaders, we have volunteers.
Sure.
So for a hurricane shelter, you'll find an area coordinator, a zone leader, and volunteers to assist.
Interesting.
That's a structure.
It's a very well laid out structure. Now, from 98, you mentioned with the Cayman arm of AGDRA being in place, the primary focus, I believe you said, was for disaster preparedness and response following disaster. We talked about the 98 in Nicaragua and Honduras following Hurricane Mitch and the efforts you put there. You sent manpower and supplies over there?
Yes, we sent manpower and we also had supplies.
Wow.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, the government of Cayman Airways, we had a chartered flight to Nicaragua. And then from Managua, we traveled to the area that is, I think it was many hours on a vehicle straight. We had to meet with the chief and certain people to discuss how to understand culture. And that was critical. So we built, it took about 2 weeks, and we do have records of that. You'll soon be seeing some of our efforts on our website, which we have developed. It's coming out. In Honduras, we looked at schools, we looked at a clinic. Funds were raised in Cayman, and those folks actually went physically to provide labor and all that was needed.
So impressive.
Cayman.
Was there, we have to go to our commercial break. Before we go, was there any level of training they had to go through, or did they have to have any certain skill sets before you sent them over? And so you think about like what Hurricane Mitch had done to that area following 98, talking about the flooding and all the damage that was done. You need some people that have some experience, I'm assuming, with disaster response and rebuilding and construction efforts and medical care and aftercare. And was there any level of training that was provided, or did you have volunteers that already had training through hazard management back then? I know we're also looking back quite a long ways.
Yes. Well, we had trained, as a matter of fact. All our volunteers have received basic training in terms of hazard management.
Okay.
We have also approximately, let's say, about nearly 30 to 40 shelter managers. They went from AGDRA that went through training with hazard management. Even recently, during our COVID response, we had over 100 volunteers that were trained, because in our organization, we have health specialists, and their role is to look at these things and talk about mitigation of risk and how we manage. So we were well trained. And another thing is that some of the people who we have, they have skill sets already in construction. So we're looking at construction, all a variety of skill sets. So AGDRA is multitask.
I see that. Yes.
Even I think approximately, let's say 2 weeks ago, or I think about 4 weeks ago, we started training people from Pan American Health Organization online. There is a specific certification that all AGDRA members are going to be exposed to. We have started already. Deals with disaster management in 2020, not 1998, 2020. very extensive program.
Wow.
So that's where we are. And so we are organized when it comes to how authentic are we.
I'm kind of shocked that I've never heard of Astra up until this moment, or this show right now. Yeah. And I feel a little ashamed of myself because you actually had quite a bit of structure here and a fair bit of involvement with a number of issues that have happened here in Cayman and across the Caribbean itself. On that note, let's go to our 1:15 commercial break. When we come back, we'll be discussing more about your current efforts with relating to the situation facing Nicaragua and Honduras right now. Back with more Talk Today right after this.
Rotary Central Music Extravaganza tickets are moving like Blackie's Grape Nut Ice Cream on a sizzling Saturday night in Cayman Brac. Get your tickets now from Rotary Central members, Rotary ticket sellers, online at eventpro.ky, Funky Tangs, Ale Thompson's Home Depot, the bar at Mango Tree Restaurant, Seabird's Bar at Eastern Avenue. In Cayman Brac, Rotary Club of Cayman Brac and Tashara Lewis, Bar Camp, On the Run in Red Bay, gas stations island-wide. Get ready to be a winner. Stand your chance to win $40,000. Second prize, $4,000, 6 $1,000 prizes, and more. Your golden ticket, your golden chance. Rotary Central and the Music Extravaganza 2020. Innovators behind the Rotary Cayman Disaster Fund and the Rotary District 7020 Disaster Fund. Your tickets support over 70 Rotary community projects, making every ticket a winner. Rotary Central, not-for-profit number 232. Your ticket, your chance. Your contribution to a better community through Rotary. Rotary opens opportunity.
The Family Resource Center presents the second annual 3x3 Basketball Extravaganza
on Saturday, November 28th at the Arts and Recreation Center, Camana Bay.
The junior division for boys 12 and under starts at 10 a.m. and the open senior division begins at 12 noon. Each team must have a minor on court at all times.
Free registration online at frc.gov.ky or on location November 28th.
Play for a cash prize of $1,000 and test your skills in the free throw and novelty challenges. Live family entertainment all day.
3-on-3 basketball at the Arc, Camana Bay on Saturday, November 28th.
This is an International Men's Day event. Contact the Family Resource Center at 949-0006 for more details. Admission is free.
Kirk Freeport's Black Friday weekend sale is bigger than ever, with up to 70% off an incredible selection of watches, jewelry, and accessories. Even better, Kirk Freeport is giving extended access to the sale all day Thursday through Monday. Find the sale at Bayshore Mall and Cardinal Avenue, or enjoy late night shopping at the Strand until 9 p.m. Get unbeatable discounts from brands including Roberto Coin, Swarovski, Bulgari, Masica, Doves, Ippolita, Lagos, Fossil, and many more. Plus, take an additional 10% off all non-branded sale merchandise. It's Black Friday all weekend at Kirk Freeport. Visit kirkfreeport.com for full details.
From district to district, moving through the waters to Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Your station, your voice. All things Cayman. One radio, many people. This is home.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, and joined in the studio today with Mr. Idris Oksho from AGDRA, which is the Adventist Development and Relief Agency. Agency, correct? Yes, agency.
Yes, that's correct.
Here discussing their organization and some of the efforts that they have invested throughout Cayman and throughout the Caribbean region since '98. However, the organization, if I remember correctly, has been around since 1956.
Yes.
With operation across the globe, 118 countries, very much involved here in the Caribbean with regards to disaster preparedness and follow-up recovery efforts. Some of the notables that you've been involved in, that you've given the list here on air so far today, was '98 with Hurricane Mitch, efforts with rebuilding efforts in Nicaragua and in Honduras, where you sent over volunteers as well as humanitarian aid supplies. 04, the efforts here itself domestically with Ivan, Paloma and the BRAC as well domestically, and then just past few years has been quite rough for the Caribbean region. So Turks and Caicos, you sent over supplies for the Bahamas and sent over supplies for there. So definitely been involved quite hands-on throughout the region. But now looking towards, we thankfully have been spared here in Cayman again this year, and quite happy for that. But some of our neighbors have not been. Honduras and Nicaragua have taken a beating, to say the least. So what is the current plan for efforts for Honduras and Nicaragua right now?
Okay, well, our current plan now, we have made a decision to consider the best approach for both countries. First of all, we had contact with ADRA Costa Rica, that is in charge of Nicaragua ADRA, even though we have a ADRA director in Nicaragua. That's we also have an ADRA director in Honduras. So we had discussions with them, and first of all, an evaluation was done as relates to needs, as relates to structure, as relates to the best approach, how we can do it. And we have decided, as it relates to Honduras, we are going to send cash to Honduras. As it relates there, that's what we are looking at. As it relates to Nicaragua, we are going to do both things. We are going to look at supplies, food supplies, and cash. So because of the nature and the structure, and we have experience, we have been to Nicaragua, so we are aware of while money will help also, we also know that later on people will continue to need food, and it's a more basic needs that people are required at this time. So we are looking at a food drive. Very, very important. As a matter of fact, even today, we contacted them again. So we have regular discussions, weeks or 2 weeks. And those people have been very forthcoming in our expectations. All right. So we have a food drive at costs you less right now. That's one of the areas, costs you less. We have a Nicaraguan group there that is collecting both funds and collecting food stuff. They have done an exceptional job. And they are part of ADRA volunteers, so it's a controlled effort.
It's a controlled effort here, okay. And they're accepting cash as well at the Cost-U-Less location.
Yes.
Okay. And then you also have other drop-off points for food and hygiene products.
Yes.
And where are those other drop-off points?
All right. The drop-off point is at Eastern Avenue, next to Banana's Restaurant. If you are traveling to Kirk supermarket.
Sure.
On your right, there is a little sign there that we have put up, Nicaragua drop-off points.
Okay.
But I want to say something even further to the cash, which is
please.
critical. ADRA Cayman Islands have the same policies as ADRA International. We have policies how you use people information when they donate. We have policies as it relates to ethical behavior during a disaster, because people are subjected to needs, and people can become emotional, and people can take advantage of that. So we are structured in such a manner that ethics and behavior and culture and belief must be respected. That's ADRA point. Also, in all Adventist churches throughout the Cayman Islands, and our conference president, Pastor Drackett, and myself, and also our logistic coordinators, Pastor Bob, and our committee of other, like our secretary and treasurer, we have been making appeals for funds, every Adventist church. And people within the Adventist church has given their funds every week. This is the second week, I think the third week. In addition to that, the Conference of Seventh-day Adventists have already put together $10,000 to be sent to both countries.
5,000 each or 10,000?
5,000 each to both countries. That is in addition to what we are collecting in the churches.
Okay.
What we are collecting in Nicaragua also, that is another sort of donation that has been given. And I want to reiterate this point. Every single cent, every dollar, every package that has been donated to ADRA Cayman is going to those countries. ADRA Cayman will not retain $1 for either, whether it's people may think administration. No. Whenever we do a project, the funds collected goes to that project because people have to trust you.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah,
and also we'll be getting reports from Nicaragua and Honduras as relates to how this has been distributed.
That was actually my next question. We have one call on the line, which we'll go to in 1 second, but when the money is sent to Nicaragua and Honduras, you're sending the money to the AGRA locations there, and they will manage the distribution of those funds and those supplies?
Yes, that is how it is.
So it's not going to the government's area, it's going to another AGRA organization within the region.
Yes.
Which shares your values on managing of funds and respect of people's property and rights.
Yes, and that's why, and we, as I said, based upon our experience,
yep,
we do know our contacts are genuine, and also we do have information.
That's fantastic.
That from those contacts to manage effectively.
That's great. It's just a little reassurance for the community before they make their donations. They
Yeah.
understand how the money is being sent. We do have one caller on the line. Let's go to our caller. Good afternoon, caller. Thank you for calling Talk Today.
Good afternoon.
Sir, thank you for calling. Good afternoon, sir. Thank you for calling Talk Today.
Yes. We're speaking about sending cash and concerning who's receiving this cash and how it's being spent.
Yes, sir.
Yes, knowing these countries from the past and the present, it's very hard to believe that all this money is going to be spent on people's needs concerning these disasters. And people may say that it's all being kept on record, what is being spent, and who is receiving the money. But it's very hard to believe that every dollar that is being sent to these countries, which are known to be not too honest when it comes to money. I mean, you all could say a pastor is receiving it. That doesn't mean that every cent that the pastor said was received was spent on people in need.
Caller, you're absolutely 100% correct. We were just addressing that to try to address that. As far as, and we'll ask Mr. Roker here to address that in a minute, but do you have a solution on how you would suggest sending the cash and how we can ensure that the money that's sent over there is going into the community, or is there a different solution you could offer to that?
A solution?
Yes, sir.
My friend, there's so many people involved in sharing up this money
Sure.
that it's hard to find out the truth. Where again?
So is the solution then not to send cash and to send goods instead, that you know you're actually giving them supplies?
It would be better to send goods.
Okay, that's fair.
It would be better to send goods because sending cash, you could send it to a church in these countries. That doesn't mean that this money, this pastor at these churches in these countries is going to take this money and not keep nothing to himself.
Okay, caller, on that note, we do have a 1:30 to get ready for it. Thank you so much for the call, and I appreciate you raising the concern. It's a concern that's shared by many who make donations. Thank you very much for calling in today. So, Mr. Ocho, you heard the caller's concern. It's a very natural concern with anybody who's going to donate their cash. They want to ensure that that money is finding its way, and you've acknowledged none of this money is staying in Cayman. Nobody from the AGRA Cayman offices are going to be receiving any penny of this. It's completely volunteer efforts. His concern, and rightfully so to some degree, is that once the cash does arrive into these other jurisdictions, whether Nicaragua or Honduras, that they're then managed on their end. And if the pastor on that end is also being 100% honest, which we expect them to be, that once that money starts trickling into the community, it starts running into its issues at that point. Is there anything you can offer to the community at this point to reassure them that what's happening on the fundraising efforts is going to find its way into the hands of those who need it?
Okay, and I think it's a genuine concern, and this is something that anytime you talk about transferring funds or anything like that, people are suspicious no matter where it goes.
Sure.
Right? So it's a genuine concern. Well, I can give the assurance that when we send funds, and this is our historical information, anywhere, in all our dealings, even when we went to Porto Cabeza, we sent funds there in 98. And when we arrived, all the funds were used for just what it was supposed to be used for. Even now, I can tell you that in Honduras, they have received some funds from ADRA International, over $20,000. They have taken that money, ADRA Honduras, and we have a report here right now. They have managing over 6,115 families and give them hygienic supplies. Also, all our accounts are audited by government in every ADRA office. And the money is not going to a pastor. The pastor is in the office, but it's going to an organization. And the organization has a committee that decides and manages everything that is sent. We don't believe that given to individuals, whether it's a pastor, just to say, we have sent some. No, we give to the organizational structure that is in place to manage those funds. As a matter of fact, if you go, I think recently we got some information from ADRA Honduras, and they have structure, they had how much accounts, what money is there, where it has been. Right now, in Honduras, the funds that have been sent, they are distributed to approximately 45 shelters and 7,300 individuals with food supplies. So it's not an individual. We don't deal with individuals.
Okay.
I am the director, and I cannot sit alone and decide that I'm going to keep funds. The church is structured where everybody benefits. And we do not ask a question which church you attend.
Sure.
What's your belief? It's not going to the Adventist church, it's going to the community. That's the function of ADRA.
On that note, we do have to go to our 1:30 break. Before we go, can you please share with our listeners again how they can get in contact with you, or where they can make their donations, whether by product or by funds?
Okay, so if you want to donate, as I was getting a clear idea, at Eastern Avenue, we have a storage facility, or any Seventh-day Adventist church, you can drop off your products on Saturday morning. They will collect it, and we want to emphasize that we are not taking clothing, because that's a challenge. From our past experience, many times people have brought clothing and it's not usable, and we take weeks to kind of sort them out.
Sure.
We are looking at food for people to eat.
Sure.
My number is 327-6609. That's my personal cell number. You can connect me there. Or you can also call Alan Thompson, who is part of our group, 547-6024. 547-6024. And the account number you can distribute in Royal Bank. It's 500-623-4 at Royal Bank, Georgetown, Cayman Islands. Make all check payable to the Adventist Development and Relief Agency, and we are an NPO, so we have to be accountable to government also.
Absolutely. Ms. Eggers, thank you so much for coming in. All the best with the collection efforts and for all the work you've done throughout the past, since 98, across the region. I'm sure there's many that are very grateful for the efforts that ADRA has invested into this region. Thank you so much. On that note, we do have to go to our 1:30 break. When we come back, we'll be sitting down with the team from Plastic Free Cayman. Back with more talk today right after this.
Thank you.
CUC is going virtual. We have the same awesome team ready to provide you with excellent service.
We managed to implement technology right before the lockdown that allowed our reps to to work from home and still deliver that exact same level of service.
Our priority will always be to provide our customers with the high quality of service to which you've grown accustomed. Visit our website at www.cuc-cayman.com or reach out to us at service@cuc.ky. We are here to serve you.
Maintaining a strong mind and body through sports and general healthy living is a good course of action. But what about your spiritual man, your inner man? He has to be awakened, fed, exercised, strengthened, and led according to the will of God. So, have you heard the call? I'm evangelist Brother Joseph Joey Ebanks, and I'm inviting you to worship Wednesday and Thursday nights at 7:30. We are bringing the Word of God to our communities as Jesus commanded. Faith comes by hearing, so come and hear. Bring your own chair or simply park and listen to the Word of God from your vehicle, covering the Cayman Islands with the Word of God, one community at a time.
Rotary Central Music Extravaganza tickets. They're flying out the window. Get your tickets now from Rotary Central members, Rotary ticket sellers, online at eventpro.ky, Funky Tangs, A.L. Thompson's Home Depot, The Bar at Mango Tree Restaurant, Sievert's Bar on Eastern Avenue, or on Cayman Brac from the Rotary Club of Cayman Brac and Tishara Lewis, or from Barcam, On the Run in Red Bay, and gas stations island-wide. Get ready to be a winner with your chance to win $40,000 or a second prize of $4,000. And there are 6 $1,000 prizes and more. Do you have your golden ticket for the golden chance? Rotary Central and the Music Extravaganza 2020, supporting over 70 Rotary community projects. Rotary Central, not-for-profit number 232. Your ticket for your chance and your contribution to a better community through Rotary. Remember, Rotary. It opens opportunities.
Fidelity Bank would like to thank all essential workers. We salute your efforts and thank you for the sacrifices you've made to keep us all safe. During these challenging times we're facing, our top priority is the health and safety of the communities we serve. And while it's true that things are changing rapidly every day, one thing that will never change is our commitment to giving you the best and sound financial solutions to help you during and after the coronavirus pandemic. At Fidelity Bank, our focus will always be you. Fidelity, we're good for you.
The Tuesday and Thursday edition of The Business Buzz is brought to you by Cayman Medical Supplies, providing quality pharmaceuticals, medical supplies, and consumer products to healthcare providers, retailers, and ultimately the patients at a reasonable rate in a friendly, caring, and timely manner. Cayman Medical Supplies is located at number 93 Smith Road, Windward Center. Telephone 949-6211. As the community continues to take precautions from COVID-19 and get ready for the hurricane season, it is important to also protect our environment, which ultimately helps us live healthier, happier lives. Let's always remember, proper disposal of masks and other PPE, as with your normal garbage, avoid littering, and do not include any trash in your recycling. Protect yourselves and keep our islands clean. For full guidance, visit www.deh.gov.ky. Shaken yet standing firm.
I was not built to break.
This is Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you're just tuning in, I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, and very pleased to have in studio a very large team today from Plastic Free Cayman. Good afternoon, everyone.
Hi.
We're all sharing microphones. It's a big set today. So it's been a little while since we actually had the Plastic Free group in, and I don't think we've had you in since pre-lockdown, if I'm mistaken.
No, we haven't.
It's been a while. So give us an update, because it's been a long time.
It has, certainly. Well, we actually had a youth summit planned, and that got cancelled in April. So we'd had about 100 Cayman youth sign up, and that was going to take place and basically help educate our youth on the dangers of plastic pollution. But COVID happened, and we went into lockdown, so we had to cancel it. And during that time, we were wondering about replanning the date, and we didn't know if we were going to go into another lockdown or not. Sure. So Steph, who's with us, and it's not just Plastic Free Cayman, we've got Protect Our Future here, and then we've got Steph McDermott, who actually attended Ocean Heroes Boot Camp about 3 years ago now. Mm-hmm. And so we put her in touch with them about 3 years ago, and she will tell the rest. But basically, it's gone from a Plastic Free Cayman Youth Summit to now a whole Caribbean regional boot camp in association with Ocean Heroes and Captain Planet and Lonely Whale. So it's grown.
So it wasn't a bad thing that it got canceled earlier this year. It actually worked
something good always comes out of something bad.
I love that answer. That's the way you have to look at everything. So Steph, that's the whole, now that you're not the hot seat, that's a whole lot to fill in. What's going on with all of that? Because Protect Our Future, Plastic Free Cayman, Ocean Boot Camp. Which other organizations did you just name off?
Captain Planet.
Captain Planet.
So locally here we have Plastic Free Cayman, Protect Our Future, Marley, and internationally it's the Captain Planet Foundation and the Lonely Whale Foundation. And
Lonely Whale.
And the Captain Planet Foundation and Lonely Whale partnered, and they created the Ocean Heroes Network, which I'm currently interning for as the Caribbean coordinator.
Okay, so where is that organization based out of?
They're based out of Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
And that's Captain Planet, and then Lonely Whale is based out of New York City.
Okay, and so all of these different organizations, do they have a focus within each of these groups?
Yes, they do.
All right, so walk us through the focus of each one of these, because there's a lot here.
So I'm quite young, so I don't really know Captain Planet. But
is that meant for the older folks?
Well,
is that your way of throwing shade at us?
No, not at all.
That's for you guys.
But the Captain Planet was a cartoon for like the 90s and early 2000s, and it's about saving the planet. It's about bringing young people together from diverse backgrounds and using their strengths to save the planet with the superhero called Captain Planet. And out of that, the Captain Planet Foundation was born. And the whole goal is youth empowerment for environmental causes and so on.
Okay.
And then the Lonely Whale, they focus on awareness and media on plastic pollution and other ocean health issues. So it started by Adrian Grenier, an actor. And ever since then, they focus on raising awareness on ocean health issues, starting with plastic pollution.
Are there any other areas outside of plastic that they're really looking at?
Ocean health. So
just general ocean health.
And that's where we actually kind of influenced that because I've been very, there's so many issues with the ocean, and I was like, guys, we can't focus solely on plastic pollution in the Caribbean. There's so many other issues. So what we did, we engaged around the region, all these experts to figure out what is it the Caribbean needs. And we came up with 3 tracks. So we have plastic pollution, then we have marine ecosystem conservation, and building ocean literacy. And should I go into the different tracks?
Before she does, I just want to backtrack a little bit.
Sure.
So, Steph, how old are you now?
20 now.
So she's 20 now. So back when she was about 17, I'd got an email through Plastic Free Cayman about this Ocean Heroes Boot Camp. And so we'd forward it on because Steph was our youth ambassador at the time. She was doing great things educating, and she was super keen. And she was turning up to every cleanup and then doing environmental work through school and at UCCI. And I remember she came along to watch Albatross, which was a really kind of heart-wrenching documentary about birds over in the Pacific, and they're basically eating plastic. And so when we forwarded the information, she went along to Vancouver and
got to New Orleans first. So the first boot camp happened in New Orleans.
You're right.
And went there and I did a speech, and I was interning for Kavu Cayman at the time, and I said this speech and I kind of lost myself, panicked, and I froze, and then I continued speaking from the heart, and I kind of mentioned some entities that I probably shouldn't have mentioned, and I thought I was done for. I thought I was going to get fired. I thought Cayman's going to hate me now. I just said the wrong things. But that speech actually bought me access with these people, and ever since then, we've stayed connected and working on various campaigns. And what was born out of that was the 345 pledge.
Yeah, so Steph came back from the first Ocean Heroes Boot Camp and wanted the campaign just means a project, something to do in your community to make some changes. And so we partnered up, and the 345 pledge was born, which hopefully most people have heard of. You can take it online right now. If you go to plasticfreecayman.com, 345 pledge, a business can take it, a workplace. We've just launched a sports club. And schools can also take the pledge. So it's a pledge to use less plastic. So that campaign has made some great impacts in the community. So that's a little bit of the history of when Steph first started with Ocean Heroes. And now here she is planning a whole regional boot camp for Caribbean youth. Yeah, so Steph, if you tell the listeners as well, like how, what 3 things they can do with the tracks, and also absolutely how to sign up.
Yeah, so the Caribbean Ocean Heroes Boot Camp, the main focus is unity around the region and youth empowerment, power to the youth and unity. And then there's the 3 tracks, the 3 main focus of the boot camp, as I said before, which is plastic pollution, marine ecosystem conservation, and building ocean connections. I just wanted to tell you why you should join Building Ocean Connections. So what that means, so again, as I said before, we engage regional experts to figure out what does the Caribbean need. And I'm the bridge for the Caribbean, right? And I really honored that as a major responsibility, bringing in an American organization into the Caribbean to do a youth program that essentially is going to shape how children think and behave. So I really took that on as responsibility, and with the Black Lives Matter movement that went up and looking at history and neocolonization, I really took that as responsibility to ensure that this program authentically fits with the Caribbean, ensuring that Caribbean cultural context is taken into consideration in this development. So, and it is kind of it was a challenge.
It's a mouthful there, but you have a lot you've done a lot in the past 3-ish years. Yeah. So with regards, you went from first it was New Orleans, then it was to Vancouver, then, if I'm correct, you were in Spain.
Yes, that's for the United Nations Climate Change Conference.
As well, so what, even attending the first Ocean Heroes Boot Camp, I mean, obviously it was in person, so Steph got to meet with other youth from all around the region. And so then that obviously led to other amazing things that she's done. So this boot camp is being held virtually, so it's online, and it's for 11 to 18-year-olds. So if anyone's listening now or knows a youngster that would like to sign up, you can sign up right now. We'll talk about that.
We will.
Links later.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And all the
amazing people here with us as well.
Which I actually want to bring on to the mic now. We'll start with Marley.
Yeah. Hi.
All right. How are you again?
I'm good. How are you?
Is it your first time on the radio?
It is.
Are you nervous?
Not really.
All right. You're natural. So Marley, have you done the boot camps previously?
I haven't. I got introduced by Ben and DJ, who have done the boot camp before and are now helping Steph run it. Okay. So I'm a squad leader this year. So I'm a squad leader this year, and I'm just helping kind of teach everybody about plastic pollution and how to save the environment.
What is involved with being a squad leader this year?
So you have a group of 30 about squad members who you just help them over Zoom kind of go through their campaign planner and make a coherent plan of how they want to change the environment in their region or country.
And as far as your changes that you want to see in the environment and in your country, what do you want to see?
So mine is I help lead the Cayman Tree Planting Project.
That's awesome.
Here, yeah, so our goal is to plant 2,000 trees by June 2021. And I think we're at 200 now. So we do tree planting projects at schools, and we're now getting DART involved and the government with the Ministry of Agriculture.
Any specific types of trees that you're focused on planting?
Not specific, but just native and food producing.
Native and food producing?
Yeah.
And you're planting that at schools, and where else?
Schools, we're going to look into businesses, and then trying to work with the Ministry of Agriculture to plant it in parks and stuff like that.
That's great.
Yeah,
so exciting. A lot of mango trees?
Yes, we're working on that with the Mangrove Rangers.
So to make sure, if you were not planting mango trees, I think we'd have a problem. But, any other kind of trees that you're planting as far as fruit-bearing trees?
Not specifically, no.
Are you planting 2,000 mango trees? Because you're going to make a lot of people really happy if you're doing that.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
That'd be great, though.
You had me hopefully wishing there for a second. That is really... Now, what was the reason you chose the tree planting as your focus?
Well, I got introduced to someone who worked at the Ritz for their environmentalist group.
Okay.
And I kind of started that back during the pandemic, and we started our social media pages. So I talked to Ben. He was like, no, that's the perfect thing. Put that as your campaign, and you can just lead from that. So.
That's a fantastic one. So you've done 200 out of 2,000 trees.
Yeah, we're getting there.
So you have 1,800 more trees to plant by 2021?
June 2021.
Okay, so you have 6 months to go.
Yeah.
All right, and do you have a plan on how... I love that. Absolutely, you can do it. Do you have a plan on how you're going to get there?
Yeah.
So you have a mapped out plan of how many trees and where you just need to get the manpower, the people power, the lady power to actually go in.
Vaguely right now. So we have 9 schools in line to do more tree planting projects. We've done one at CIS, and we're working on preps right now. And then...
How many mango trees are you getting, Claire?
I hope a lot. The shade and a little bit of snacks during the school day. That would be wonderful.
It makes for a great...
Just to go back and introduce the squad leaders, because the squad leaders are youth. I mean, I'm feeling really old here.
I'm feeling just as old as you are right now, don't worry.
But often the young ones, like I say, it's for 11 to 18-year-olds, and they don't necessarily want to be taught by somebody my age. So the youth, the youngsters are leading. So they're the squad leaders. So Marley, how old are you?
17.
17, and Dinara?
19.
So the youngsters are basically leading the younger ones. So that's how the hierarchy kind of works.
And that's the whole goal of the program. It's a youth-led program, developing campaigns that are youth-led. And that goes back to the main goal of power to the youth. Young people are capable of creating change in their communities. And
absolutely. So, Dinara, I'm going to ask you about the same thing. How long have you been involved with the boot camps yourself? Is this your first year, second year?
First year, actually. I'm part of the Mangrove Rangers. Okay. So that's how I met Steph and Mr. Bill. So Mr. Bill, he recommended that I apply for the squad leaders, and it's something Steph has been working on for such a long time, and she's put so much effort into it. So that's how I know about it. So I thought, okay, this is a great idea. The campaign plan, it helps people focus the efforts and create change.
Absolutely. And so tell us a bit about the Mangrove Rangers. Why did you actually venture into that specific manifesto, so to speak?
So I was studying sustainability and environmental management at university, but I deferred this year. So when I saw the Mangrove Rangers being advertised, and this was shortly after, the Green Blue Plan came out, so I thought, this is exactly what I want to work in. So that's why I applied and got involved with the Mangrove Rangers.
And what do you do being with the Mangrove Rangers? What are part of your tasks? Is it planting more mangroves, or is it managing the health of them? Is it counting and evaluating?
So what we want to do is protect the central mangrove wetlands. So we've been doing education. So we're doing a stakeholder series right now, which is actually starting to come out. We released a trailer yesterday, and we want to start collecting data and creating that baseline for future, and just encouraging people to develop smarter and think about our environment and how it affects the communities.
Interesting. And as far as the development, is it just really just bringing education awareness to the developers to not tear out the mangroves, or for people to sustain them better, or to build around them? What is some of the, and this might be very new for you as well, because it's just coming into it, but anything you can offer as far as that?
So like educating developers to develop with mangroves in mind, like keeping the mangroves, making sure what they do doesn't impact the mangroves as well as educating the public so then they know how much value mangroves bring to us, such as keeping our oceans clear, having a fish nursery for fishes before they go out to the reefs. It also impacts our rainfall patterns as well, so it has a lot of ecosystem services it provides us. So just getting people to know about that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Anna. I appreciate that. Molly, how are you?
I'm good, thanks.
So if you just come a little closer there. There we go. So, Molly, the same questions you just heard me ask Marley and Dinara. Is this your first year in the boot camp program?
Yes.
And what is your focus that you chose to venture into?
I think I might focus my campaign on mangrove deforestation.
Okay.
Because...
And why mangrove deforestation? Why is that the one that's really sticking out for you?
Because it kind of links to everything, because mangroves are very important habitats for many animals, and they also protect coastlines from extreme weather.
Very true. Now, is this the Mangrove Rangers as well?
Yes.
Same project. And how old are you, Molly?
I'm 11.
You're 11. So we have 17, 19, and 11. Are you now? And the program is for 11 to
18.
11 to 18. So are you one of the youngest members of the whole boot camp this year? Does that scare you at all, being so young and being with the 17 and 19-year-olds?
Not really.
Oh, you just got it. She's like, no, I'm not scared at all. I got this.
I think the whole ocean hero concept as well is that there's so much, and it's all interconnected. Sure. So we were talking about mangroves earlier, maybe we're talking about coastal erosion, which is a big topic on 7 Mile at the moment, but also the plastic pollution that, again, comes within the mangroves. And I was chatting to Molly before the show, and Molly had signed up for our youth summit in April that had been cancelled. So when we let everyone know it was going to be our regional boot camp, she signed up, and so here she is. So we're so happy to have. We're not sure how many Cayman youth have signed up yet, but there's still spaces. So
and how many spaces are there in the whole boot camp?
The whole boot camp, I think, is going to be maximum 300 youth from all around the Caribbean.
That's pretty impressive.
So, and with Plastic Free Cayman and Protect Our Future as the hosts. Protect Our Future as the hosts. It's the first time it's been done, and so hopefully this is going to be like an example for even other regional boot camps. There was talk maybe of a African one, and maybe even Asia.
Yeah, I'll keep this one brief. But I don't know if we can announce this. Sorry, Courtney.
We have a minute and a half to all 2 p.m. news.
Well, yeah, so this is their first regional boot camp, and they have plans to go to other regions. Okay. So this is kind of laying out the foundation, and that is why, again, I believe it's such a responsibility to ensure that cultural context is taken into consideration when doing programs like this, because we can't put one Band-Aid around the earth to solve everyone's problems around the globe, because each region has their different problems, different socioeconomic makeup, as well as just different culture. So it's important to take that into consideration when we're developing this program, because the campaign in India and a campaign from Africa and a campaign in Cayman, we can't take the same strategies to solve the same problem, because it's different society.
No, absolutely correct. When we get back from our 2 p.m. headline news, I'd like to talk a little bit more about what's going to be involved with the boot camp, what the youth can expect from it, and how they can go about getting signed up. We're going to go to our 2 p.m. headline news right now. Back with more Talk Today right after this.
Unity Radio with a different appeal. The voice of the people. Security through adversity. Stuck on you. Radio for all time.
You're listening to Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
It's only 2 species that we have here on Island.
Generations present.
Your voice, your choice.
It is in the best interest of the people of these islands.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Government's Environmental Task Force is continuing to tackle an ever-present problem in Cayman, derelict vehicles. Director of the Department of Environmental Health, Richard Sims, says the public needs to be aware of their responsibilities when they no longer have use for their vehicle. He says a big problem is transient workers who buy a car for while they're here and then just dump it on the side of the road when they leave the island. Or even worse, they sell the car, get the cash, and then never transfer ownership. Since the task force was put together in August, they removed 352 derelict vehicles. Turning to international news now, U.S. President Donald Trump pardoned his former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn on Wednesday, ending a years-long prosecution in the Russia investigation that saw Flynn twice plead guilty to lying to the FBI and then reverse himself before the Justice Department stepped in to dismiss his case. The pardon in the waning weeks of Trump's single term is part of a broader effort by Trump to undo the results of a Russia investigation that shadowed his administration and yielded criminal charges against a half-dozen associates. It comes just months after the president commuted the sentence of another associate, Roger Stone, days before he was to report to prison. Ethiopia's prime minister said Thursday the army has been ordered to move on the embattled Tigray regional capital after his 72-hour ultimatum ended for Tigray leaders to surrender, and he warned the city's 500,000 residents to stay indoors and disarm. Instead, an increasing number of people continues to leave the regional capital even after the deadline expired, that according to a UN humanitarian spokesman. And in a 5-4 ruling, the U.S. Supreme Court sided with religious organizations in a dispute over COVID-19 restrictions put in place by New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, limiting the number of people attending religious services. The case is the latest pitting religious groups against city and state officials seeking to stop the spread of COVID-19, and it highlights the impact of Justice Amy Coney Barrett on the court. The decision comes as coronavirus cases surge across the country. Those are your latest headlines here on Radio Cayman. I'm Shanda Gallego.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
Your voice, your choice, your radio.
The Paramount Carpet pre-Christmas blowout sale is back. Monday, November 23rd through Saturday, November 28th. Save big with assorted remnant tiles, $250 square foot, $100 a pallet. Assorted remnant granite slabs, $300 each. Ceramic tiles as low as 75 cents a square foot. Porcelain tiles as low as 99 cents a square foot. Area rugs, 35% off. Carpets, 25% off. And all other in-house tiles, 20% off. Cash and carry. Visit the big blowout sale at Paramount Carpet, November 23rd to November 28th, located on 317 North Sound Road, Industrial Park. Open Monday to Friday, 7:30 till 5, and Saturday, 7:30 till 2. Call 949-5000.
We do a whole lot more than just cover your floor at Paramount. Paramount Carpets.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you're just tuning in, I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. And I'm pleased to have in studio Miss Claire Hughes, Miss Steph McDermott, Miss Marley Smith, Miss Denara Pereira, and Miss Molly Desaram. Did I say it correctly? Desaram. Thank you so much. Here to discuss the upcoming Ocean Heroes Boot Camp. A number of different environmental agencies involved with this group right now, from Plastic Free Cayman, Protect Our Future, and then regionally and globally, Captain Planet, Lonely Whale, and the Ocean Heroes organization for organizing this boot camp, looking at a number of issues in the Caribbean region. So Steph, we're looking at this boot camp kicking off when?
On the 6th of December.
6th of December, and it's going to run for how long?
About 3 hours on the 6th of December. It's going to start off with a daily dive video. The daily dive consists of pre-recorded content from experts around the region, of squad leaders, just to create hype and motivation. And then they're going to jump into their squad leader meetings. So all the youth will be assigned to a squad, which will be led by one of the squad leaders from around the region. And then after that, they can learn more about the tracks, the campaign planner, and then they'll be assigned various challenges. One of the challenges is a carnival costume challenge, where we're asking you to design a carnival costume using upcycled and plastic waste that represents their island, their culture, and their connection to the environment. And we're asked if they want to do a dance with that, or a poem, or a song. That's part of the artivism track. So it's another segment of it, using art as a form of messaging.
Okay.
And then after that, there's a few days to put all that stuff together, and then we come back together on the 11th. Same thing, kick off with daily dive, meet everyone, hey, and then you jump into your squad leader meetings, and then the youth will decide which track they want to focus on. After they've picked their track, they'll go into the track zone, where there's experts, panel discussions, and activities focus on that track. And then that's on the 11th and 13th, and then on the 13th, we come back together. And since it's virtual, it's a challenge. We put so much pre-recorded content together. There's a lot of video production in it. And on the 13th, we'll see everyone's campaigns, if they have it done already, and the costumes, and just seeing everyone come together on a video reel.
As It's pretty neat. So the December 11th, December 6th is a Sunday, is that correct?
Yes.
And so the 11th would be a Friday, is that correct?
Friday, yeah.
And what time are these boot camps taking place?
About 4 p.m., 5 p.m.
4 p.m., 5 p.m.
Eastern
So it's after
Central
school, so
Time. Yes,
so
after
kids don't have to worry
school.
about being in school on that last day.
Yes.
And then the 13th is a Sunday as well.
Yes.
Okay. And then what happens after the 13th? They go through the boot camp. What's the next step for anyone who's actually looking to make this environmental journey?
So one thing that I love about the organizations who are putting it on, they look at long-term impact. This is not a short-term vision. It's about long-term engagement with youth. And I guess that's why I'm still here. And the squad leaders, if they choose to, they can continue as a mentor for their squad throughout the year, and they'll also be plugged into that network. So once they're part of that network, they put in their campaign planner, they have support, global support from that network. So if someone wanted to do, let's say they wanted to do scuba certification classes for children in Montserrat, we can plug them in with Patty. Let's see if we can partner up with Patty to get like some sort of sponsorship or some sort of support or something. Youth have that option once they're part of that network.
Slight derivative question then here. So while this is a very wholesome initiative, we talk about dealing with environmental challenges and addressing them, looking at this from the other side of the coin of a future employment pathway, you talk about being the Patty element there just now, whether you decide to go in this to clean up plastic for a living, who knows, that could be like the scenario one day. There's groups doing that right now. What are the options that are available for the parents that are listening right now, or the grandparents that are listening right now? Not that this should be the incentive, but it's a reality of the coin. As people do consider this as a future.
Yeah, no, I'm so happy you asked this question, actually, because that was a big thing that everyone around the region was pushing, is like looking at a blue and green economy, and that we need to survive, and how do we get monetary gain, and how do we have monetary value in environmental solutions. And to all the parents listening, this program is going to teach your kids real life, tangible career skills that can be applied in all areas of their passions or career aspiration, as well as university, because that campaign planner is essentially a project management toolkit. It teaches young people how to budget, why you need a budget, how to put a budget together, how to put a project timeline together and why you need a project timeline, how to put a pitch together and why a pitch is important, or how to draft emails to communicate with people, adults in authority. It is teaching them real life career skills that you essentially can't gain at school. And Claire was telling me that Lily, after the program, she felt like that experience helped her with her university application. I don't know if you want to say more on that.
So Lily now leads Protect Our Future, but when Protect Our Future first started, she was a younger student, and so she's been attending beach cleans. We've taken her to the Bracken, to Little Cayman, and she's involved in all the different projects you heard about. There's mangrove, there's tree planting. So Protect Our Future didn't just start about plastic pollution, but it was a kind of a knock-on effect of that. Mr. Bill, who's our education coordinator and a science teacher at CIS, got his students involved in many different environmental issues. And she was chatting to me after the cleanup on Sunday, and she has a scholarship now at a university, and she was saying how she's absolutely certain that the environmental work she's done helped her with the scholarship. So yeah, to parents, the foundation that this can help give your children is really invaluable. So it'll be exciting to see what Molly goes on to do as well.
How are you going to be going to college very soon? I had this strange feeling you're going to be like applying for college in a very near future. I just got the look like, yes, I am.
She's 11. She's 11. At 11, that's a long way away, but it does go fast.
It could be next year. There's 12-year-olds off in college right now.
That's true.
You see the wheelchair. It's like, wait a second, I can go to college already. So if I can turn the microphone back to Marley here for a second. So Marley, we just heard the conversation there about future employment down the road, and you're on the cusp, 17, right?
Yep.
So college is somewhere in the near future, right?
I'm fine right now.
Is there a focus on employment down the road? Do you see yourself being can I call it a Mango Ranger? Would that be fair? If I called you a Mangrove Ranger for now? Not Mangrove, Mango.
Mango.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's correct. Do you see yourself somewhere down the line being still involved with this world?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely want to stay involved with the environment because it's been something I've been passionate about since I was very young. Okay. I'm applying for medicine in unis right now, and I definitely think the work I've done with Protect Our Future, the Tree Plating Project, and now Ocean Heroes has really helped me to show that I do like helping people and helping others to kind of be educated and then also just be better in the environment and the world. So I think that's really helpful for my uni applications and all of that.
That's great. Dinara, same question to you then. Do you see yourself one day working in an environmental field?
Yes. Yes, like this is what I'm studying at university right now. So I'm studying environmental management, so probably working in public sector or private sector, but I really want to work with conserving what we have and preserving that for future generations.
That's great. And then Molly, so the same to you. Do you see yourself, I know you're only 11, but I'm sure you've thought about what you want to do when you grow up to be like Steph.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what I want to do yet, but even if it's not my job, I do really want to help save the environment.
I love that answer. She knows it already, and you will. I have no doubt about it. You're going to save the environment one day. So if we jump back then to for our listeners at home, the blue-green economy. Can you clarify for our listeners what that means? Because this ultimately is the conversation we're having, is that economy and that blue-green economy and the future career paths for people. What does that mean, Steph or Claire?
Do you want to? Yeah.
You're up, Steph.
A blue-green economy is sustainability. It's continuing making monetary value while sustaining the natural environment that we currently have. So a blue-green economy is looking at sustainable fisheries. How do we continue to sustain our diet and the demand of fisheries now while ensuring that future generations can have still have a pile of fish to eat?
Fair enough.
One of our tracks, one of our partners is Veta Wade from Montserrat, who is a consultant on blue economies and sustainable fisheries. And she will be doing a few panel discussions on that, bringing in other experts to communicate as to how we can start adapting into a blue and green economy that's sustainable for.
She's going to be doing a speech at the at the actual boot camp.
Not only she's doing a speech, but she's also one of our program developers.
Okay.
So she's what we call a track captain for the Building Ocean Connections, and that's what that track consists of. It's looking at how do we incorporate this blue economy.
Okay. We have to go to our commercial break, but one quick question. Is there any involvement on the CARICOM level with some of the projects going on with this boot camp?
So we do have the United Nations Environmental Program participate in it. We have connected with CARICOM ambassadors to spread the word, and we have CARICOM countries involved, yes. But the CARICOM organization is not directly involved, but indirectly they are involved, yes, as well as the United Nations.
Is that possibly the next step of the game, is to engage the actual CARICOM organization to bring this, since they are the CARICOM community of our region?
Yeah, I mean, I think anything is possible in the future, especially for something where it's a network. And I think more countries need to be engaged in it than CARICOM, for sure.
And CARICOM,
I don't know, Claire, if you want to add anything else to that.
No, I mean, the whole point is to collaborate. I think they're advertising for us, but we're also going to keep it manageable, right? So there's quite a few organizations.
It is quite a few that are already involved in this.
And can I just say, managing partnerships, so many, hundreds of organizations, it's extremely difficult. And just managing that communication and the methods of communication. And again, these are important skills that we need to learn, especially as young people.
That's fantastic. On that note, let's go to our last commercial break. When we come back, we'll be discussing more about how people can get signed up in the upcoming Ocean Heroes Boot Camp. Back with more talk today, right after this. Black Friday sales are finally here. Get ahead of the New Year's rush with the Black Friday sale at Kingsport Center. Annual squash memberships as low as $300. And unlike others, you never pay any additional court or registration fees. Why spend 40% more with other gyms? 1 year Powerhouse Gym memberships are only $385. For more information, call 946-5464 or email kings@candw.ky or visit kingsportcenter.com.
Black Friday
Sale at Kingsport Center. 1 day only, Friday, November 27th. Kingsport Center, your one-stop shop for fitness, recreation, and relaxation.
The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. Are you currently a member and interested in the management of your pension plan? If so, consider becoming a volunteer trustee. Becoming a trustee is a great way to play an integral role in the governance of your pension plan. If you'd like to learn more, email pensions@chamberpension.ky or call 745-7630. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you.
Now you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere.
Everywhere.
Can you hear me now? Everywhere. Everywhere.
Yes, right from your Android or iPhone. Download the Radio Cayman app now on your Android or iOS phone.
The Radio Cayman app
is where you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere you go.
Everywhere we go, we go. Everywhere we go, we go.
Find it in the Google Store, the Apple Store, or use the link at www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Yes, now you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. In case you're just tuning in for the tail end of our show, I'm Raymond Singh, filling in for Mr. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, and very pleased to have in studio a group of dedicated environmentalists here from Plastic Free Cayman, as well as representing other agencies, including the Ocean Heroes Boot Camp. And while we wrap up the show today, can we actually get into more of the meat of how can people sign up for the upcoming boot camp, dates again, and times?
Yeah. So this program's for anyone between the ages of 11 and 18 that has some sort of passion for the ocean, or they don't know that they have a passion just as yet. You don't need to have any skills beforehand or any degrees. It's open for anyone who wants to do something about ocean health. To sign up, you can go on to oceanheroeshq.com/bootcamp/Caribbean, and that'll take you straight to the registration form. You can also, it's on Plastic Free Cayman's Instagram, and you can also find it if you just search up Ocean Heroes Boot Camp on Google. You can't miss it. And it's for 11 to 18 years old. We kick off on the 6th, and then we come back on the 11th, 12th, and 13th.
Is there any cost? And the 12th as well?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I missed the 12th.
There's no cost. It's for free.
It is free.
It is for free.
So it is a free boot camp.
Yeah.
As far as one of the important elements I think you raised earlier is that you're giving direct access to a lot of the soft skills that employers want to see in their future candidates. So before you go off to school and before you apply for scholarships, you're giving free access to a lot of these soft skills. And excuse me, in the process, opening up potential boot campers to a world that they have not explored yet.
Yeah, and I'm really excited for like the Haitian students and for like the students in Dominican Republic and those in Aruba, just to connect and just to have other perspective of the world and of the Caribbean by having conversations with their squad members.
Absolutely.
And speaking about it being a free boot camp, if there's any business owners out there and they would love to sponsor this program, we're also open to sponsorships. And you can also reach out to us on email at Caribbean@oceanheroes.blue for more details.
So as far as corporate sponsors, because it's important, at the end of the day, these type of initiatives do have to get funded. There are costs that do go into this.
It's for free.
And because it is for free for participants, so we have to make sure that there's these costs being covered somehow. So with those sponsor dollars, if sponsors do want to get involved, what do they is there any kind of branding that comes along with that? Is there any initiatives that further come into their sponsorship?
Yeah. So as I said before, a lot of it's pre-recorded content, and it'll be shown. So their logos will be part of the slides. It'll also be part of the newsletters, and we have about over 500,000 followers on our Instagram pages jointly. So you also have logo recognition there on those social media pages, on our shout-outs. And since it's a regional boot camp and a global boot camp, there's news companies that will be covering that boot camp. So who knows, your logo and your shout-out may be in a newspaper in Montserrat or the Bahamas and New York City. So there are a lot of opportunities to let the world know that you sponsored this program and that you want to see youth grow and you would like to see the planet be sustained.
No, that's great. One of the intangibles of this one is you're giving direct access for these campers to actually interact with their Caribbean neighbors. It's almost like the Pen Pal program, but modernized to Zoom meetings, right?
Yeah.
Like we had pen pals when we were kids, right? We had to write these handwritten letters to people in France, and that's what we did. Now it's a Zoom conversation that's happening with people from Bahamas and people from all over the Caribbean, and they're all within their age brackets, which is...
And who are all passionate about ocean health. And that's the thing, like I was talking about, like saying that you started by yourself. It is hard to find other people like you who are super passionate about actually creating change. So we hope to connect people around the region so they don't feel alone in this battle.
No, absolutely. And then as far as, the commitment in time is December 6th, 11th, 12th, and the 13th.
Yeah.
And then what happens, and I may have asked a variety of this question, what happens after the 13th? Where do they go from here? So if those who want to actually really get in, what happens in 2021, whether from the Plastic Free Cayman side or the Protect Our Future side or the Ocean Hero side, what are the options available for them then?
Yeah. So as I said, once they're part of it and they submit their campaign planner, they're part of that network for as long as they want. So they'll stay engaged with the Slack channels, with the Instagram, with the WhatsApp group chats, with the emails every now and then, and they can always reach out to us in the Ocean Heroes team, or they can reach out to the squad members, and we hope that you guys, the squad leaders, stay engaged throughout the year and to continue on as a mentor for the squad members.
And then as far as the parents or the adults who also want to get involved on this, we'll ask the kids' side of the question as well, but on the parent side, who may want to become more involved with these types of initiatives. Because while you're right, it is the youth that are going to lead the charge in the future. Right now, parents are still calling the shots in many ways. What do you say to the parents, and what are opportunities for the parents to actually get involved, whether via these boot camps or other Ocean Heroes initiatives?
Yeah. And can I just quickly say, like, a campaign is not going to be completed in 3 days. So that campaign planner, that can be rolled out for 6 months, 1 year, or 3 years. It really depends on how long that campaign's rolling out. And for the parents, if you want to get involved during the boot camp, to listen to some of the panel discussions, to watch the campaign plans roll out or the videos, we are going to have something called an observational deck, open only to parents and guardians, and also just for some protection, because I know we want to be safe for our kids.
Sure.
The website that they're working from, which is like the conference hall, is password protected, and only those who signed up can have access to that website. And there's also a waiver that parents have to sign to allow their kid to participate.
Great. Thank you, Steph. I want to ask one final round of questions for the three of you, if you don't mind. If you could just pull the mic down. There we go. So if you were speaking to one of your peers right now, because right now we have their parents listening, but if you could speak to your peers, so the parents are going to tell their peers this statement, what would you say to your peers right now about the importance of getting involved in both the environmental causes and in this boot camp?
I would definitely say that this boot camp is a great opportunity to just unify, like Steph was saying, with other people in the Caribbean that share your same passion for the environment. And along with that, you get so many opportunities with the Ocean Heroes, like leaders and all of that, to get involved with companies that can help support you and really push your project forward.
Fantastic. Well said. As far as you, Nara, same question to you. If you were speaking to your peers, to your family, to your siblings, what would you say to them about the importance of getting involved in environmental initiatives and this ocean boot camp?
Well, environmental initiatives, because like the environment around us, it's where we live, it's important to protect it. And this boot camp, it gives a starting point, so you know how to focus your efforts and make an effective campaign to create real change in the community.
Thank you, Dinara. Focus your efforts. I love that. And as far as you, Molly, same question to you. If you could speak to any of your peers, any of your friends in schools, any of your friends from around the world, what would you say to them about the importance of getting involved in environmental causes and in this boot camp?
I would say that because we live in this world and we're going to grow up in this world, that it's very important to protect it, so that we should all take a more active role.
All take a more active role. I love it. They've got the great answers. It's not scripted. They've had it's them speaking. I love it. It's a great thing. So if we can, we're just coming to tell our show. So from Plastic Free Cayman now, we saw you out in South Sound this past weekend. How was that beach cleanup?
The beach cleanup was, we had 2 locations, one at South Sound Dock and one at South Sound Community Centre, so Consuelos Beach.
Yes.
And then other groups went to the beaches in between. I think by the cemetery was cleaned up as well. So we removed over 820 odd pounds of marine debris, most of it plastic.
Sure, yes. All had been washed up over the past few weeks of storms and
absolutely. But obviously all our beaches are impacted, and all 3 islands are impacted.
Absolutely.
So just to recap, I mean, the Ocean Heroes Boot Camp is the first of its kind, regional. The students from all over the Caribbean, aged between 11 and 18, can sign up. And Plastic Free Cayman and Protect Our Future are hosting. We're the first hosts of this particular camp.
Exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's still places available. And it's just as well exciting to see the younger ones hopefully they'll come back as squad leaders and then even hopefully go on to bigger things because of this.
Absolutely. Future prime ministers, presidents, saving the world one nation at a time, right? Yeah, of course. There you go. So do we have any beach cleanups coming up in the near future?
We have a above and below cleanup, actually. The event just got posted yesterday on the 20th of December.
Okay.
So there's going to be, if you're a qualified diver, you can go and clean up the below. And if you're not, you can stay on the above and help pick up some marine debris. So,
any particular location that you're focused on?
I believe in Georgetown. We've actually got 5 new cleanup coordinators.
Oh wow!
So
okay.
it's not me doing it.
Good for you.
Yeah, we're having a whole network now. And what I love about all the environmental groups is there's often a ripple effect and there's a crossover.
Sure.
So there's a collaboration between everyone, which is brilliant. And also, you don't need a beach clean to go and clean a beach.
No,
you can go out today and pick up some plastic or go plant a tree or
mango tree.
Mango tree.
And specify.
Or not rip up the mangroves if you're building a house.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've actually got I'm waiting for my dog food bag to finish, so that's my next garbage bag to go fill up. And I've just been timing it, waiting.
Repurposing. And we talked also briefly about artivism, and there's a lot of artivism going on. It's a new word, artivism.
Teach me, artivism.
So basically it's activism and art.
Oh, sorry, yes.
So Mark Lawrenson has got an exhibit on right now at the National Gallery, happening right now. You could go this evening and see it, which is called Consumed. So he's using upcycled materials to create art. And then recently in the summer, Kerwin Ebanks had an exhibit, and he basically is using plastic that he finds on the beaches, and he's using hair clips and lighters and fishing line to make sculptures, and the art is absolutely amazing.
It is.
They're doing a panel discussion next Wednesday at the National Gallery.
Okay.
So that would be amazing as well. So artivism is using art and activism to help spread the message.
Artivism. I love it. New words coming out every day. We actually did have Corinne on the show a few weeks back. We did a feature on him and his work and the amount of hair clips he's found on the beaches. It's outrageous. But
so if you're doing beach cleans and you find lighters and hair clips, send them all to Kerwin.
Don't throw them in the garbage. Go find Kerwin. Love it. On that note, thank you so much again, everyone, for coming in. And again, Steph, if you don't mind, just give our listeners again how they can find out more information on the boot camp.
Yep. So it's the Ocean Heroes HQ at I'm so sorry. OceanHeroesHQ.com /bootcamp/Caribbean. You can also send an email to Caribbean@oceanheroes.blue, or you can find the link on the Instagram, Plastic Free Cayman's Instagram.
That's great.
And Facebook, and as Steph said earlier, just Google it.
Yeah, just Google it. Honestly, just Google it. Ocean Heroes Caribbean Boot Camp. You can't miss it. It's one of a kind.
Google the new school.
Just
Google it.
Just Google it. There you go.
Thank you so much again, everyone.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone.
On that note, we do need to call it a wrap for Talk Today. Thank you again to all of our loyal listeners out there in Radio Cayman Nation. To Miss Susan Watson, our guest, Miss Katina Anglin, the team from AGRA and Plastic Free Cayman, and Protect Our Future, and Captain Planet, and Lonely Whale, and the Ocean Heroes Boot Camp. We got everybody in there. Yes. It has been a pleasure bringing you Talk Today, and on behalf of the entire Radio Cayman family, thank you for sharing your afternoon with us. I'm Raymond Singh. God bless, and have a safe rest of your Thursday.
Talk Today is brought to you by Fidelity Bank. For all your banking needs, visit fidelitygroup.com. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Keep my ground so clean.
The heart and soul of the Cayman people. Thank you for keeping the culture alive.
Spread the news every day. From East End to Georgetown, down into